May the fourth be with you. Hey guys, this is Frozen Wish to use here, and welcome back to another movie review. And in honor of Star Wars Day and Star Wars Month, I am here today to finally do my long-awaited Star Wars reviews. And yes, guys, I know I've been wanting to do this for a while now. I plan to do it in 2022, I think. I planned to do it in 2023, but I didn't. And I was supposed to do this last year in 2024, but I didn't. But this year, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Yes, I'm doing it for real this time. I am going to be reviewing every single Star Wars movies on my channel. So yes, guys. Yeah. Happy Star Wars Day to you all. So yeah. In honor of Star Wars Day, which is today, yeah, I am going to be reviewing the very first Star Wars movie to ever exist, A New Hope. So, Star Wars A New Hope came out in the year 1977, and it is directed by George Lucas, and it stars Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Peter Cushing, Alec Guinness, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, Peter Mayhew, David Prowse, James Earl Jones, Phil Brown, etc. And so the film tells a story taking place in a galaxy far away, when Princess Leia has gotten captured by the evil Imperial forces led by Darth Vader in their effort to take over the Galactic Empire. A farm boy named Luke Skywalker teams up with the Captain Han Solo, lovable robot duo R2D2 and C3PO, and the Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, they must team up together to rescue Princess Leia from Darth Vader. And during the journey, Luke Skywalker learns the ways of the Force and to become a Jedi, since Obi-Wan Kenobi can sense the Jedi in Luke Skywalker. So audiences get to learn about the Force and the Jedi and all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, the story is basically as simple as that. So yeah, guys. So like what I said, this is the year 2025, the year where I am finally going to be reviewing the Star Wars saga. Yeah, and yes, I did review two Star Wars movies before. Back in 2022, I did a review on Rogue One, leading up to Andor, season 1 of Andor. And then I also reviewed Star Wars The Last Jedi for its 5th anniversary. And then I promised that I was going to eventually review the whole saga. I initially planned it for May 2023. May 2023. Yeah, I thought that was the year. But I didn't. I was busy because 2023 was my graduation year, so I was very busy preparing for my graduation. So I was like, yeah, 2024 would do. But guess what? I was also busy in 2024. So I eventually decided that May 2025 will be the year where May 2025 is the time for me to talk about the rest of the Star Wars movies. So Rogue One and The Last Jedi, I'm not going to redo a review of them. So I will review. So yes, what I'm going to be reviewing is the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, Solo, Force Awakens, and Rise of Skywalker. That's what I'll be reviewing. Now, I am still deciding on how am I going to construct my reviews of the Star Wars films. How am I going to work them out? Original trilogy, for sure, I will review, well, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, I will review tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Prequel trilogy and then the others, I am deciding. I'm thinking I will review 3 Star Wars movies a week, like trilogy a week. So this week is original trilogy, next week is prequel trilogy, and then the third week of the month is the Disney trilogy. Is the Disney Star Wars. But again, I am still debating on that. You will see how this will go. Yeah. But yeah, so So going so with A New Hope, yeah, guys. So this is the film that truly changed the cinema forever, and I can imagine if I was alive in the 70s, like, as in, like, I had like a fully functioning brain, being able to, like, watch movies and analyze them and all that stuff. Like, if I was like, I guess maybe 10 years old and above or something like that. And then I would watch Star Wars: A New Hope for the very first time, witnessing. Well, technically, it was called just Star Wars back then. Yeah, if I actually watched Star Wars, I would have called this the greatest movie of all time, because when it comes to 70s movies, 70s blockbusters, this is truly something new. Like, this is something we have never seen in movies before. Yeah, this is something we've never, and I mean never, seen before in, like, any movies. Sure, we did get some films like, you know, we got some, iconic films like The Godfather, which The Godfather still remains my favorite movie of the 1970s to me. And then we also got blockbusters like Jaws. But Star Wars is something different. Because at that time, back in the 70s, filmmakers could not afford heavy visual effects. Yeah, they could not afford it. George Lucas has just, but George Lucas really updated, like, really gave us, all of these visual effects. So it would have been just, yeah. So yeah, it is a film that truly changed cinema, and after rewatching A New Hope last night in my area, May 4 last night, I gotta say, this movie still holds up to this day. Yeah, it holds up very well. Star Wars: A New Hope is one of those defining blockbusters where without this film, we wouldn't have blockbusters today, and Star Wars is one of the most famous film franchises of all time for a reason. The visual effects are what made this film truly special for its time, because of how like what I said earlier, filmmakers cannot afford heavy VFX, but George Lucas managed to pull off the impossible. What the Avatar movies are for our generation was what Star Wars was for that previous generation, the 90s generation, the what they call it, Gen X, Boomers, yeah, something like that. Now, does this have the greatest visuals ever put to film in today's standards? Well, in comparison to other films made today, no. I think there are better visual effects. And I'm not talking about those movies with, like, over-bloated VFX. Yeah, I will admit that A New Hope has better visual effects than those ones. Even though I'm not the type of person to complain about, bad visual effects, but like over-bloated. But yeah, New Hope is this movie has better visual effects than some of the shitty blockbusters we get today, with some of the most awful visual effects ever put to film. Heck, this movie's visual effects is way better than that shitty visual effects in How to Train Your Dragon live action remake. And other movies, like, with awful CGI. Yeah, but that's the best I will say. And you screw up if I would say a movie from the 1970s is better visual effects than a movie that's made today. Yeah, so yeah, the score from John Williams is the most iconic movie score ever. It's not my personal favorite movie score. I think there are some scores that I think are slightly better, like Interstellar, Inception, The Lion King. Yeah, I know, all from Hans Zimmer. But I think this might have the best score from a outside of Hans Zimmer. Maybe I'm biased towards Hans Zimmer because he is my favorite composer of all time. But John Williams wise, yeah, this is the best one. And I think this has the best score for a franchise. Yeah, because all of the movies that I would consider some of my favorite scores of all time, they're all just like single films, well, except Lion King, which has sequels. But Yeah, you know what I mean by that. Yeah. I mean, how can anybody not love this score? Yeah, I mean the Force theme. I mean, the Star Wars main theme with the dun 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 dun. Oh, and also the opening crawl. The opening crawl where like we get an introduction of what made an introduction of what the plot is going to be about without revealing important plot details. So, like, it just explains the gist of the film. That's actually one thing that makes Star Wars very unique. The opening crawl. That's kind of a clever idea. Yeah. And then we also got, yeah, I will say though that the prequel trilogy has my favorite Star Wars tracks. I'll talk about them when I review the prequel trilogy, especially Revenge of the Sith. But my favorite my favorite track in the original Star Wars, my favorite OG Star Wars track would have to be dun 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 dun. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that track right there. That's probably my favorite. Yeah, it just gives me chills every time I watch this. And honestly, I kind of feel like I forgot how good the score was. It is so just outstanding. You know what's also outstanding? The cinematography. I will say that this has the second best cinematography in all of Star Wars, second only behind Last Jedi. Yes, I said in my review of Last Jedi that it has the best cinematography in all of Star Wars. This is a close second. And I say this movie features what I think is the best shot in all of Star Wars. The best shot to me, the binary sunset shot with Luke Skywalker looking into the binary sunset, watching the sunset, and then the Force theme plays. That is maybe the best scene in the entire original trilogy. And yes, spoiler alert, but Empire Strikes Back is still the best film in the original trilogy. We all know that, but there are some things that this movie did better than Empire Strikes Back, like the cinematography with that shot. There isn't an Empire Strikes Back. There isn't a piece of a shot in Empire Strikes Back that matches the shots that binary sunset shot of A New Hope. It's just way too iconic and one of the greatest shots in film history. I also prefer the A New Hope's action scenes over Empire Strikes Back action. I mean, obviously, when it comes to the lightsaber battle, yeah, I mean, lightsaber fight, yeah, Luke versus Vader in Empire Strikes Back is the best. Is a way better lightsaber duel than Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader in this one. But I don't get the hate for Obi-Wan versus Vader. Sure, yes, it doesn't hold up well. It is a very slow fight, but it's not bad. I mean, there's far worse lightsaber duels in all of Star Wars, like Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Count Dooku and Attack of the Clones, or Rey versus Kylo Ren, the Kijimi one. No, not the Waters one. I mean the one in Kijimi where they when they're distant from each other and then they fight. Yeah, that's way worse than Obi-Wan and Anakin. But when it comes to the action scenes like the shooting and escaping one, I always forget how good this movie's action is. Luke, Han, and Leia trying to fend off the stormtroopers while escaping the Imperial base is my favorite action scene in the entire original trilogy. Yeah, the final 1 hour of the film is non-stop action, and there was a moment in the film where you think it's going to be over. Basically when they escape from the Imperial base with the Millennium Falcon, you thought, okay, it's all over now. But no, there's still that mission to destroy the Death Star where, the mission to blow up the Death Star. It just keeps going. The writing is also masterful as it's a very simple story of a ragtag team of misfits rescuing a princess from Darth Vader. Yeah, I mean, maybe in today's society, this would have sounded like a generic, man, prince must rescue princess storyline, like fairy tale story. But the execution is very, very strong, and it has inspired a lot of stories similar to this today. It features some of the most iconic characters ever with Luke, Han, Leia, Chewie, C-3PO, R2-D2, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan, etc. Darth Vader is one of the greatest movie villains of all time, no doubt in that. Princess Leia would be my favorite Star Wars character and my Star Wars crush. She's just freaking awesome. And Luke Skywalker is one of the greatest Jedi's ever. And I feel like people are way too harsh on Luke Skywalker in this one. I mean, I've heard a lot of people hate on Luke in this film because, oh, he's just a whiny farm boy. I'm sorry, but shut the fuck up, y'all. You don't know anything about character developments. There's a reason why Luke Skywalker was a whiny farm boy in the beginning of the movie. It's because, I mean, this is what character development is. Like Luke Skywalker's character development should be a staple example of character development, as he went from a whiny farm boy to a Jedi and a resistant pilot, and we see and as the film just goes on and on, we get to see Luke grow as a character. That is what character development is, and don't judge Luke just based off the beginning. Let's look at him in the end. And yeah, I think it did feel earned. He really deserved to be a Jedi, despite starting off as a whiny farm boy. Yeah, he really had Obi-Wan by his side. Great mentor to Luke Skywalker. Yeah, that is yeah, and also the film does. The film is slow, but it takes its time to lure us into this world, and also we had to learn about the Force as well, and because Jedi is the Jedi is the hero of Star Wars, but it's a very unfamiliar term. So of course we newbies have to learn about it. So yeah, yeah. And even if the film is slow, it's still a very engaging watch from start to finish. Oh, and also the opening scene as well. One of the greatest opening scenes in all of Star Wars. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is just Yeah, once you watch that opening scene. Yeah, it is. You're like. You have your jaw drop. I'm sure people who are watching A New Hope in theaters back in 1977 would have their jaw drops. Yeah, that's how good it is. So yeah. Oh, and also upon rewatching A New Hope this latest rewatch, I actually noticed some small details that is like insane that I can like literally share fun facts to. Like, for example, the Rogue One teaser. I still remember the teaser trailer for Rogue One. You remember that in that teaser, the alarm, like, the sirens, yeah, the sound effects, it's actually taken from this movie. Yeah, that's how cool it was. Oh, and also, there's some, like, solid humor in this one as well. Like Han Solo trying to distract the stormtroopers, and then he's like, pretending to be a stormtrooper, and it's like trying to talk to them, and then they eventually suspect that it's an imposter talking to them. Yeah, that is a funny moment right there, a good moment right there, a good moment right there. So overall, Star Wars: A New Hope is one of the most revolutionary movies ever, and is a perfect start to one of the most iconic movie franchises of all time. And it is certainly one of the best Star Wars movies for sure. Among the top 3 best Star Wars movies. This could even be my second favorite Star Wars movie. But I'll have to see how Revenge of the Sith goes on rewatch. Because Revenge of the Sith would tend to be my favorite Star Wars movie at times. But so we'll see how I will view Revenge of the Sith and rewatch. Yeah, and this will be my second favorite movie of the 1970s, the second only to The Godfather. Oh, and also, yeah, this is my parents' favorite Star Wars movie of all time, and I can totally see why. So, with that said, guys, I'm going to give Star Wars A New Hope, but 5 stars out of 5, a masterpiece movie. So, also for my review of Star Wars A New Hope, what are your thoughts on the movie? Would you agree with me that this movie is a masterpiece? Or would you do you think that this movie is slightly overrated? I do have some in-person friends who say this movie is overrated, and I can totally see why. So yeah, comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my review on The Empire Strikes Back. Bye, guys.